Illuha, flashlight. Flashlight.
We are working on KREMINNA axis. Flashlight means that you need to check whether the drone's flashlight is switched off, because the drops works on light sensors. If the flashlight is on, then the drone will open up during takeoff, and it can end badly. Therefore, every time before takeoff, the aircraft technician shouts flashlight to the pilot. He checks whether everything is normal. We conduct near-field reconnaissance, deep reconnaissance. We are adjusting the artillery, and if there are favorable conditions for this, we strike on our own. Aerial reconnaissance is essentially the eyes not only of artillery, but of any unit in general: infantry and assault infantry, and line infantry and artillery and everything else. For everything to be seen, aerial reconnaissance now plays a central role.
My callsign, kit. Any adjustment is effective only if we can see where the projectile is hitting. If we shoot at random, we can use up a dozen rounds of ammunition and still not hit within 100 meters.
For me, as for a person who hasn't served before, it's difficult to imagine how management and goal setting, search for important objects, surveillance could be carried without drones. It's just some other universe of warfare. As I understand it, the active use of aerial reconnaissance began only at the beginning of this war. And right now, it's the beginning, inception and flourishing. And there are no manuals, nothing. Knowledge is literally changed hands. And you have to come up with a lot of things yourself. You have to experiment.
Most recently, in cooperation with Azov, we hit an enemy T-90 tank.
Guys managed to aim and destroy the tank. We were later told that it was T-90. It was wonderful. Before, we usually worked on infantry, and when such an opportunity appeared, we with Azov took advantage of it.
The cooperation started very easy. They came at us and said they have good equipment, and we have good pilots. We agreed, met, tested our joint efforts, went to the location and completed the task. As for me, the most recent thing I destroyed was an enemy MTLB by dropping a cumulative projectile. At that time, the enemy moved to our positions with about 40 infantry and 2 MTLBs covering them with fire. Our artillery began to work, and after the MTLB remained motionless but not destroyed, we decided to finish it off with a cumulative projectile, a drop from a drone. And the dropping was successful. The MTLB was destroyed and no one took it from the battlefield.
From my personal experience, the most damage was caused by VFGs. They are quite lightweight, you can hand them 2 at once. So you throw one off to zero in, the second one hit the target. And you are not limited in quantity. Even if you don't have them with you, you can go to your neighbors and take a box of grenades. It could be something self-made, for example, we often drink non-stop. We stuff the plastic into these cans, find some metallic parts as fragments. We stuff them, put in a fuse, and we get these self-made bombs. There may be something more serious. For example, you can make one with spiking elements, make them on the 3D printer. Most of it is self-made, because as far as I know, there aren't that many standardized munitions for drones. Currently, the trend is shifting towards the use of FPV-drones, specifically as combat weapons. That is, they don't conduct reconnaissance, they don't have a camera suitable for this, but they are designed to deliver some warhead to the target. And I don't know how long this trend will continue, but it seems to me that FPV and strike aerial reconnaissance in general can cover at the moment not completely but at least partially the tasks previously done by artillery. Maybe when it will be scaled up, will be more drones and more trained personnel, more provision, then it may even be able to replace artillery entirely.
It is not for nothing that the Russo-Ukrainian war is often referred as the drone war. Every day, swarms of drones are flying over the front line, playing a critical role on the battlefield. Aerial reconnaissance unit Kondor provides up to 90% of information for other units that are in combat positions, and also destroys the enemy with drop systems, facilitating the assault actions of the defense forces. The National Guard Condor unit was created in December 2022. To date, it has already destroyed dozens of enemy armor.
On every flight we risk losing a drone, because every day the enemy is inventing new ways to counter drones. This is both electronic warfare and protection against drops. They weld various nets onto the armor. They even stretch nets over the trenches so that a drone shell cannot be dropped there either. And many people think that if they buy a drone and send it somewhere, it will be there until the end of the war. This is not true. Drones are lost there very often. They are consumables, like shells. And I'll tell you what, drones are cheaper than shells for mortars and some howitzers.
Our and the enemy's technology's adoption is almost parallel. They have FPVs and we have FPVs. They have some ways to counteract this, and we have some ways as well. This is a very innovative area. And you just have to... I can't make any predictions because it's all changing very rapidly. You just need to be a little faster, a little more agile. Always be one step ahead. FPV is just a delivery method. You can fly it into a target and it will be super accurate, because you can see almost all the way to the target. You can use it as a bomber and drop grenades or self-made explosives. You can drop mines to mine remotely. You can conduct reconnaissance, if the camera and suspensions are good enough. Or look for mine barriers. Also, you can resupply positions. There are so many things you can do, we are limited only by our imagination.
We know how to work with drones, so we need drones. If someone knows how to work with something else, they need to raise funds for that. I'm not saying that drones are a panacea, but they are very important for us, because for us it is the main tool for killing the enemy.
I really wanted to somehow get directly involved in the process of resolving this chaos that had begun, and I was looking for some opportunities. I was immediately interested in aerial reconnaissance and went, as a civilian, to learn to be an agricultural drone pilot. And at those courses, as it happened, a group of military men were studying in parallel with us. They were using the same drones, but for own tasks. We got to know them and started talking. I asked them one thing, they answered me another, and they said, if you want to be useful, then come to us. Our unit will have aerial reconnaissance. They offered and I joined.
Before the war, I was studying programming. I was just starting my first steps in it. But the war has shown that it is too early to do anything else but destroy the enemy.